This is the final checkout video of this Argentinian telephone from 1962 made by Standard Electric for the Argentinian industry. It is the model 201. I know this video is long overdue, but life happened. So, uh, without further ado, let's get started. So, this is basically, or a lot like, a Model 500 on the outside, but it's very different on the inside. Almost like the Spanish Geraldo telephone, the way the network is, and the ringer with the concentric bells and the clapper where it's kind of at an angle. But you would think it's a Model 500, but it's not, from Western Electric. There are similarities, as Standard Electric was a subsidiary of ITT of Argentina. So the dial, if you were to look at the workings, very similar to the Western Electric dials, similar to the number 9 dials, I should say. And of course, you got the handset, which is like the G handset, but it's not. They do have a lot of similarities with the font they used for Standard Electric Industria Argentina. Just like Western Electric, they try to make it look similar. Same thing, they had the labels on the back of the phone here, except it's flipped over. Plungers are almost similar, but they're a solid white plastic. Terribly discolored from the sun, but they're more of an ivory color. Handset cord is okay condition. Same thing with the line cord. It still has its line cord. I just installed a little box here so I can plug it in easily without having to use 4-prong plug. Dial center is missing. It was a plastic insert. Of course, those kind of inserts always fall out, so they always tend to break. The dial, I oiled it, and I tightened the spring in the dial too because it seemed kind of loose, so I gave it one more go around. The bezel here is painted on the back side, and they put in the silver numbers on there, so you can see where like the paint is starting to come off on the other side, I guess. I think maybe from the fall that happened, because if you look here, you got some damage on the front. The plastic is in rough shape. There's lots of scratches. It's very dull. And the sellers claimed that it was a Western Electric 500, but by just the look of the dial, I mean, you got just numeric bezel here, and the finger stop is also different. Some people say it looks backwards, but that was just the style. And of course, the numbers aren't in the same positions as the Western Electric dials. Here's a profile look at it. It's almost like almost like a 500 clone, but a little different. Model 500s, they have the handset cord coming out from the left side of the phone, but they have it coming out of the back. And of course, if you look at the bottom, it's different too. Different type of ringer. That's the adjuster. And you also got Standard Electric Industria Argentina there. And we got, I think, February of 1962. And then you got 201 there on the top. And it's got 2 feet missing on the back, obviously. I did manage to get it to dial correctly. I adjusted the dial pulse contacts, and the numbers hit off perfectly fine. They make calls. I called my cell on it when I was still living in my parents' house. Now I don't have a landline at all here. The only thing I could do is test the ringer, which is nice and loud. I adjusted the bells and even the clapper because it was a little bit weak. So I can't dial out for you all, But what I can do is I can kind of dial a few numbers, and you can see them kind of, dial a 3, for example, and then you got dial a 0, and then the little voice level, the little light indicates that there's a transmission. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you 3 rings on the telephone so you can hear what it sounds like. So here we go. I will pick up on the 3rd ring. All right. So that's the long overdue final checkout video of this telephone from Argentina. It is a very welcome addition to the collection. They're very hard to come by, but it's nice to finally have something that is obviously hard to come by, even though it's in rough shape. So we can kind of discover what things look like that are hard to get, at least here in the States. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.